And we're really excited to be in the studio with Tupelo and specifically James Kramer and Kevin Duffy. Thanks for coming in, guys. We really appreciate it. Just to fill in the people who are listening at home or in their cars, with any luck at all, we're going to come out of this with a new bridge jingle. We've never had one before, but these guys have been singing our names.
No, not these guys, me.
Okay.
The money comes to me.
So it's all about the royalty here.
As I said, always hustle, always hustle.
There you go. This is last year at the Kansas City Irish Fest, first American gig.
Yeah.
It was actually quite important to you guys.
Yeah, of course, because where we come from, and particularly when you're writing your own songs as a child, people always kind of go, listen, there's a lot of people doing that. You'll never get there, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Well, we've been playing you for weeks.
Yeah, I've heard.
Regular
Thank
rotation.
you very much.
So, yeah. Good record. We've been playing a song called Old Country just to help connect it to folks. Of course, the new album that features Old Country is Push On. And just a quick word to the wise, there is a deluxe version out there that you can find digitally that not only has all of the songs from the album, but some different versions and also some live versions. It's going to be a busy week for you guys. It's going to be a busy week over those 3 days. You've got multiple shows.
Yeah.
I think good, 5 altogether.
Yeah. I've got 5 and then 2 solo shows, Saturday and Sunday. And then with the band, we're playing every night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It's absolutely great. Yeah. So I think one of the things about what you all do is really sort of at the heart of the way that the Kansas City Irish Festival is trying to grow because while you're Irish and you sound Irish because you are, it's not exactly like you're running around in leprechaun suits.
Just leopard suits.
Yeah. So it's sort of, you guys are sort of like the alternative or the independent side of Irish music, and there's a lot of influences from a lot of different kinds of music from across the globe.
Mm-hmm. Well, I suppose, like, for me, it's just a festival. It's a good festival, run by great people, and it's great crowds. Yeah, the Irish thing, people think you're from Ireland and it has to be a certain thing.
Jigs and reels.
Yeah, and we've got lots of friends who are way better at doing that than we are, so we do our own thing,
It's doing your own thing is... you fell in love with Van Morrison when you were younger, and so you got a guitar, and then realized that you hated doing covers.
Well, my nana bought me a piano when I was like 2.5, because she couldn't afford a piano for her kids. So I kind of banged away on that and went to lessons, and then the teacher was just like, "Oh my God, I can't teach this guy anymore," because I'm very hard to teach anything to. So I always have to I get a hold of it, and then I want to do my own thing. But yeah, just writing songs very young, and you kind of, when you hear someone like Van Morrison's voice coming, it's just around you when you're young, you hear it on the radio or on CDs or on the TV, because back then he would have been on the TV quite a lot. For me, it just took a hold, Like, I never wanted to be him or anything, but it's it makes you want to have that, for me, to connect with people through your songs and to keep doing it, and he's still doing it, That's my thing, I'm just going to keep going till I drop, So.
And that love is where the name Tupelo comes from.
Yeah.
Tupelo honey.
From that record, yeah.
Different people will name their audiences different things. I've heard you all refer to your audience as Tupelonians.
The Tupelonians, yeah, or Tupelettes.
Makes it sound like it's like outer space.
Well, sometimes they are. Maybe too different. Another level.
But I think the way that you all, the context for Tupelonians was that a lot of times, particularly in an environment like this, people might not come to a show knowing your entire body of work, and so your mission over that hour and a half, or whatever it is to take people and convert them into Tupelonians.
Kev?
Exactly. Yeah. That's the mission. Every time we go out is to grow the audience and bang them over the head with the new stuff.
But it's about, like, when you go to a show and someone's just not trying.
Yeah.
When you go and you're just going, that person is so sick of what they're doing. Then you go to see a show and someone is really trying. Not overly trying, but just, it means so much, And they could be just standing there and not moving. It's not a movement thing. Then you go, okay, and then you want to get involved. So that's what we try to do. Obviously, I would have studied all that, like, growing up, the reaction of crowds to certain musical movements or rhythms or and things like that. So, but yeah, it's very much a two-way thing. Like, so when we play tomorrow night, like, if the crowd is not up for it, like, I kind of die a death, like, you know, like I always say this. Like, I was chatting to the lads last week. We were in Norway, and it's very much a mood thing. Like, music for me, if it's the setting and the atmosphere isn't right, like, I'm not a monkey in the zoo. I kind of can't switch it on. But then when we do switch it on, it's as good as anyone on the planet, I think. You know, I'm not saying we're better than anyone, but we can give it a good go. You know.
You know, when an audience goes from 0 to 60, you know, they become a part of the show. I love watching a good crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's kind of, well, that's what buzzes us up about making music, you know. Even if it's a ballad or if it's a fast song, it kind of, for me, it's all the one, you know.
So you accumulated enough songs that you felt like it was time to form the band. You got the band together. But then it's sort of like it's at a certain point, you got to leave Ireland. Yeah. And, you know, you've developed this. And, you know, we have a band in Kansas City that's done the exact same thing, the Rainmakers, and they go over to Scandinavia, and they're just absolutely, you know, big stars. And it's just sort of like, where did that come from? You guys have that exact same thing.
Yeah, well, what happened was, you know, Ireland's a small country, and a lot of very, very talented songwriters and musicians will kind of do the circuit, and then money becomes an issue, you know, and then they can't do it, you know, bands break up because of cash flow, you know. So I kind of copped early on that we need to get out, you know, to come back or to survive and keep going, keep moving, because, you know, you gotta have money on the table, let's be honest about it, to keep it moving. And it's never been about the money, but you need to have it coming in, obviously. So I just kind of got a contact, actually, and his name is Eugene Graham, and I rang him on Christmas Eve 2011, I think it was. And I gave him a lot of grief on the phone, you know. I just said, listen, you need to book us. He was like, I've never heard of you, don't know you. No, I'm too busy, usual thing with bookers, you know. And I said, no, listen, you won't regret it. You need to bring us over, So this is Christmas Eve. And I remember looking, well, I ring him on Christmas Eve, you know. And I was like, why not? What have I got to lose? He's just going to say no, you know, like everyone else has done before. So, you know, I rang him, and sometimes I can be quite convincing, you know. And so he said, yeah, and he booked us a small tour.
In Denmark, yeah.
In Denmark, and we went over and we came back and we kind of broke even on it. And then we got some festivals out of it because people seeing that we care, going back to that thing again. And we've got some okay songs, and he's okay looking, so it's kind of
bad fiddle.
Stars align. Bad fiddle, but he's not a bad looking lad. So then we went over, and then it kind of, you know, you work at it and you kind of, you know, you hustle again, you know, you keep trying to, you know, get in them doors.
So I just wanted to follow up, because I do listen to your answers. Essentially what you're saying is that Kevin here is eye candy.
Oh yeah, sure, he's a brutal musician.
You couldn't even hear the fiddle in the last track there. Am I right? The fiddle's probably cut out of the mix, so we just don't know a little more.
It's just me, man. It's just me. It's just me coming through. It's just me. Yeah, well, if a girl likes him, they're normally a bit nuts, so, you know, he can move, you know. Anyways, we won't go there. Sorry, folks. People are laughing in their cars now going, I know a guy like that.
You know, you came over, I was looking on your Facebook page. You two guys are essentially the heart of the band, and then you bring in other things as needed.
Yeah.
And you guys went to the Royals game, and you know, like, we need the saxophone player that just played the national anthem. And
well, yeah, because we seen him play. He's played on, was it Tuesday night?
Yeah,
we
Tuesday
got in,
night,
and we were just back from Norway, and we were real tired. We were literally home for half a day, and then back on the plane again. Great, like, so we came in, and we were kind of, he was fading, like. Once he goes to bed, he's in bed for 2 days, you know.
No.
So I was like, but we wanted to go to the game, you know. So we went to the game, and then this sax player was playing the national anthem. So straight on Facebook, who is this guy? Come and play with us, you know. Yeah. But he got in touch. He's actually he's playing at a jazz festival. But yeah, we'll do it again, you know. But we're all about collaborations, like you were saying there about. Yeah, it's me and Kev, but for me, it's real interesting bringing very talented people in as well to add to the movement. It changes it. It keeps it fresh, I suppose, but keeps me on my toes. And you want people who are coming in who really enjoy it as well, you know. And so it's never stale, you know.
You know, playing the Kansas City Irish Festival is really sort of the conclusion of a happy accident. Ronan Collins caught a show of yours. You were just the opening act. He was there to see somebody else.
He was there to see Sharon Shannon, who's a well-known Irish traditional accordion player. and that gig that night was Shane McGowan from the Pogues, Sharon Shannon Mundy, who's been over here, and ourselves. So yeah, we kind of, same thing again, we hustled the gig. Our manager kind of hustled the gig, and like we kind of pushed it and we got on it. And we were literally backstage on Vicar Street in the venue, and I was just sitting there having a beer with him, and Ronan just said, hey, how come you haven't been to America? And I said, like, what's your name? And we got chatting, and he was like, well, I work at the festival. And that was kind of thing. So, if I ran a festival, there's only so many acts you can listen to and get through, and then you have people that you want to bring in. But you need someone like that who can kind of champion it, and who's respected. So if there's any young bands in KC listening now, like you need someone who you connect with, who connects with your music, and who will have no problem going to somebody and going, hey, listen, give these a break, give these a chance, and like we've been talking to people here. It takes years and years to come over, or to go anywhere. It takes years because people will go, well, who are you? What are you doing? And if you're not doing anything, how can you go do something else? It's the same kind of thing, Like you people apply for a job, they want to change career. Experience only. You're like, how can I get experience if I don't work in it? It's the same kind of thing. But Ronan just took the punt, and we met up with Kelly and Dan, who are great people, and come very friendly with them. And they took the chance on us, And as you were saying about the festival, there's other festivals that might look at us that we're not Irish enough, which I don't even know what that means, But they're very much.
I'm laughing because it's true.
It is true,
It's just hilarious.
Well, there's only so much room for that. Like, and they're bringing other bands over, and it's good to see that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be about one thing. Isn't music meant to be kind of moving and universal? And if if we all looked the same or wore the same and spoke the same, what's the point? Like,
I mean, and I think that Kelly and Ronan and everybody that's part of the decision-making process absolutely took the right road, because they didn't say, are they Irish enough? They said, are they good artists?
Yeah.
And that's the deal. And when you play the Kansas City Irish Fest, that leads to other festivals. You've gotten some good work out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And like, yourself, it's once people see it, people got to see it. Sure, our manager was just like, all people have to do is see the show, You can go to meetings and send emails around. At the end of the day, they have to come and see it, like, So we'll just keep going, and that's it, like.
We're talking with James Kramer and Kevin Duffy of Tupelo. They're playing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Kansas City Irish Fest. At the end of the interview, we'll give you the exact schedule and places to go to make sure and catch them live. But in the meantime, love to hear another song.
Sure. Thank you. This one's called Yesterday's News. If you've ever had a semi-broken heart or a full broken heart, you'll connect with this. And I won't be here tomorrow. I've given up in my life as I know it now. And I can't say that I didn't put my heart into you. And our love is like yesterday's news. Can I catch a ride with you today, sir? It's time to move on and change the scene. And it feels like I wasted those years, and my youth has disappeared. And our love is like yesterday's news. It's like yesterday's news. It's like yesterday's news. And our love is like yesterday's news. It's like yesterday's news. It's like yesterday's news. And our love is like yesterday's news. obey. And I've made my choice, and I live with it. I will do. And I still have your picture, and it's by my bedside. And you know, I wonder what it's doing there. And I dream about you every morning, and I'll dream about your touch for love. And our love, my love, it's like yesterday's news. And I miss my mother, and I miss my father, and the line in the ground. And I think of you, and when you dream on, yeah, I dream of your face. And I'm moving on to another place. Listen to me, will you dream more? Will you dream more? Will you dream more? Will you dream more? It's like yesterday's news. It's like yesterday's news. And our love is like yesterday's news.
It's Tupelo in our studios live today at the Bridge. That was lovely, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. So the new album is called Push On, and I wanted to talk just a little bit about the recording of it. I'm trying to get the mental image, and I think I've got it, but you guys essentially did this in sort of a mansion or castle, or, you know, I'm kind of imagining Monty Python's Search for the Holy Grail kind of environment, you know? It's like turkey legs and chalices of mead.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
yeah.
Big fires every evening, and we all sat around, had dinner, and kind of whoever wasn't working was kind of cooking, you know? We kind of, like, I love recording studios, but for this particular time, I was just like, let's get the boys out of the city. Let's get away from the distractions. So we rented a house, and we didn't realise actually how good it was going to be. And it had a big living room that ended up being such a great live room for the drums and the acoustic guitars and the vocals. So we kind of lived together for like 2.5 weeks, and whoever had to leave, we could just go off and come back, you know, if they weren't scheduled in. But it was, when you came in, it was the music house, you know. And it was a nice way to be, wasn't it? It's
Yeah, super. Like, just we got a lot out of each other, more than we expect, you know.
yeah, and I think then
and
it kind
changed.
of comes across then sometimes in some of the songs, you know, that you
Yeah.
wouldn't have got that in the studio.
Happy feel.
But for me, recording, it's just, it's never ending, you know. It's constantly learning. You know, you hear like the likes of Springsteen, he, like, you know, they were dragging him out of the studio. I kept going back like for 2 years on the same song. I understand that, but I do understand as well, you have to leave it as well. You have to, you know, you have to move on and let it be and let other people decide, you know. And then sometimes you might get it right, you know.
I think that, you know, during a couple of those Springsteen albums, particularly early on when he was under such pressure, that I think his band had to just despise him.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he recorded
you've seen the
same
documentaries,
thing.
and he's
Yeah.
just like, stick, 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 and Max is gone. I know, I've been doing this for just 3 hours, man, you know, and he's just, but, you know, same kind of thing. You find it hard to get the sounds. What I do out of my head onto the desk, out of people, and then make it, you know, good, you know. So that's a never-ending kind of mind game. But I'm good with it now, you know, as in I know that you can't always get what's in the mind, so you try to get as best you can down, you know, and move on.
I would think, too, that going into sort of an otherworldly environment, something that doesn't represent your normal life, might be a way to sort of announce to yourself that this is important and different and start feeling things.
Yeah, you know, it's important to, I suppose, have time to think about it, but you can't have too much time either, because then you overthink things. The best way we work for me would be kind of quick, you know, quick, isn't it? Even with the shows, like there's no set list. no one knows what's happening. You know, I don't even know what's happening.
Well, I think that that's like a really important thing to make note of, because between the solo shows and the group things, you're doing 5 shows,
Yeah.
but you've never done 2 shows that are the same.
No, well, Kev would tell you more about that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a disaster. Totally.
But it's a beautiful disaster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
dude,
it's
that's
out.
the name of the next
Yeah.
album. I like that. A Beautiful
Yeah,
Disaster.
especially the guys that are coming in on playing with us, and they're like, "What's the set list?" Set list, and we're like, "What the set list?"
I'm just like, talk to him and he'd give you some understanding of what way, because we're going to rehearse later, and the rehearsal is it's a sketch, you know. You move it around, and like, as I said, same thing again with the live shows. Sometimes I might make a mistake calling something or moving it a certain way, but then when we get it right, it's great, you know. So similar, you know, like if you watch Leonard Cohen live, you know, it becomes nearly like a biblical experience. And same with Springsteen or any James Brown. I mean, anyone who puts on a show, you know. And the record or the CD or the iTunes or whatever you listen to is a different thing to the gig. And,
Right.
you know, we want people to go home and remember, you know, ingrained when they hear that name, oh yeah, that was a great show.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, because I'm sitting here and you're doing these beautiful soft acoustic songs, and you know, in and of themselves, they're fabulous. But everything that I've been reading is about the energy of the stage show too, right? So it's going to be a different thing tonight when you're
Yeah, but they're all songs, you know.
tomorrow night.
They're all songs.
Yeah.
You know, I could record this song with a synthesizer and stick a hip hop beat over it. It's still, at the end of the day, you put it back on the piano or the guitar, or me and him in a room playing together, which we do all the time. And you know, we end up after playing a gig, we might end up playing another gig nearly, you know, or before the gig, because we end up just playing because we like doing it. They're all songs. It shouldn't matter what way. I'm good with whatever way they're put across, you know.
So over the course of the festival, you're doing 3 shows as Tupelo,
Yeah.
but also 2 solo shows. So
Yeah.
you're recording as a solo artist.
Yeah,
as
well, it's just I've got so many songs that I have to put them out, you know, or I want to put them out. So you can obviously only release under. People get confused then, because to me the industry is a bit nuts at the moment, because everyone wants to put a label on you, me and Kev, me, him, his fiddle playing, whatever, my songs, the lyrics, style, you know. So if I putting songs out under the name and it's like a different kind of sound, people don't understand. They're like, you can't do that, you know, you're confusing people. I'm just like, same thing again. They're all songs. Who cares? Like, who cares what, you know? So like, I want to put out 1,000 songs in my life. That's what I want to do, you know. So whatever name that's under, it doesn't really matter, you know.
Yeah, I've read that you have been inspired to write songs by painters quite a bit. You also put out an entire album that was inspired by the Irish poet Matt Dugan.
Yeah.
And my sense, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm basing this on absolutely nothing, but it's pretty obscure stuff, right?
But brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, I was in the library in Dublin just scouring, and I just seen the book, and I'd never heard of him, and I pulled it out and I read it, and I was like, first line was, where computers rule over humans and machines work night and day, my thoughts go home to the mountains and lights of Lisnaskay. And he wrote that like in the 70s, you know, where machines rule over, you know, and so I just took it home, and then I just put some songs to it, and it ended up in an album. There was no thought process behind it or anything like that. It was just kind of, and then I was like, okay, people need to hear this. How can I get these poems out? It was never about me. It's a sparse album. It's done on purpose. You know, very basic track, because I want people to hear the words, you know. And it's great even now that like people on the radio are hearing about it, you know, because if there's one person who picks up on it, it's a good thing, you know. So yeah, it is. It was a bit odd. Like everyone was like, "What are you doing?" But I was just like, "We just finished the band's album," and I'm like mad to get recording again, you know. So it's like, you know.
Well, and you know, this poet Matt Dugan had such an interesting story, because you know, he's been gone now for about 35 years or so, and
I stumbled into his book that his family published, you know.
Right.
And we're in Kansas City talking about it, you know.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's hard to research some of this stuff, but my sense is that he wrote or started writing about the beauty of his homeland when, in fact, he was a prisoner of war in World War II.
Yeah, the Russians had him.
He had longing for home.
Yeah, you know, that poem, "The Lights of Lisnaskay," is the title track of the album, and I suppose like anyone could, if you were in that position and you were a prisoner of war, you could close your eyes and you could walk around your back garden, you know. You know, you'd know there's the tree, there's the fence, that's the plant pot, you know. So if you were locked up for that amount of time, of course, and where he lives actually just on the border of Northern Ireland and the Republic, you know. So it would have been quite a tempestuous kind of place to live and to bring a family up, you know. Brave guy, you know, brave guy.
So I'm assuming you've had some contact with the family?
Yeah, so what happened was then I did the album and then like our label was like, we need to get permission for these lyrics. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then so we rang the publisher and the family had to, so I ended up ringing the son. And like people in the north of Ireland are very funny, like, but they can be very serious as well. So you don't know. I didn't know what was going to encounter, but he just couldn't believe that I stumbled across the poetry, you know. And then so I picked these poems, like 7, 8, 10 poems, whatever it was. And he said, "Come up." So he gave me a tour of where all the poems are written about, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah. And even like just for me, it was a cool experience, you know. I don't like if no one ever hears the album. It's not. It's about, as I said, as an artist, as a songwriter. Whatever, it was a nice thing to do, and like I got a lot out of it, you know.
So you're working on the next Tupelo album, right?
Finished.
It's finished?
Yeah.
How soon do we get to hear it?
We're trying to like basically, hopefully, come over here next year and take over. That's the plan. What do you think? Are we going to come over and take over? Are we going to come over and take over?
Is my job at risk?
So that's the, you know, you can only, a good friend of mine named in the bar, he's a very well-known Irish musician, he said like it's going to take you kind of 3-4 years to come back and really start, because to make a name, you know. So we've got 1 more year. But next year we're going to take over.
All right. So if people want, they can pick up Push On at the merch table.
Yeah.
Kansas City
Push
Irish
On, we
Fest.
have Dirty Money there as well. Yeah. Come down and say hello. We're Friday night on the Boulevard stage at 7 o'clock. 6:30.
I'll go through the whole schedule.
Okay. I'm not good at that.
Yeah, I've got it all written down.
I'll probably just say the wrong time and people will turn up and then they're like...
My job is reading. I'm okay with that.
My job is talking rubbish. Isn't it great?
Can you sing some? Can you sing and play some rubbish?
Yeah, I can actually do that really well.
More.
I can actually do that really well. Yeah.
All right, love one more.
Cool. This one's called Break Loose, and this is actually going to be off the next album. And when I break loose, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. When I break loose, and those words won't beat me down. When I break loose, it feels like I'm crushing and the walls are closing in. I'm not trying to be any one thing. You're stuck in your glass house, I'm always half full. You'll know I'll take you on like a raging bull. See, it's got me fired up and there's nowhere to go back to. This tunnel vision is the only way through. And I won't be here in the morning, and I know you'll be, that's for sure. And you won't be seeing me here anymore. And when I break loose, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. When I break loose, and those words won't beat me down. When I break loose, loose. Don't you wait for the angels here. See, they're taking their time to get to you. Oh, see, now it's my time to put it to you. See, I've got no choice, it just drags me through. Make you weak at your knees. See, there's only one plan. You always knew that since the day that it began. So build yourself up and get ready for the ride. And hold on tight, cause you know it's gonna collide. And take one more look at my face. You won't be seeing it anymore. Oh, when I break loose, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. When I break loose, oh, those words won't beat me down. When I break loose, yeah, when I break loose, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. When I break loose, and when I break loose.
Tupelo Live in our studios. That was great, guys.
Thank you.
It's going to be a lot of fun this weekend.
Big time.
Maybe too much fun. Every time we go on tour, we lose a year of our life. But that's okay, because who wants to be old?
If you
No offense, Kev.
If you want to find out more, you can go to their website, tupelomusic.ie. The new album is Push On. James Kramer, Kevin Duffy, our guests today here on the bridge. They're going to be playing all weekend at the Kansas City Irish Fest at Crown Center, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they're a part of an enormous event, 70-plus performances across 7 stages, music, dance,
And
comedy.
we're the only one that counts.
Yes.
Let's be honest about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's like, okay, so there will be Tupelo and then
Tupelo.
69 plus
Yeah.
jealous
That's
performers.
way better. That is way better. Jealous performers.
Totally
Yeah, look.
envious performers trying to figure out if they
What
even
the hell
made
is
the
going
right
on?
decision by getting into the entertainment business. What am I doing up against
What
these
normally happens
gods?
is when we see the other bands, they always run the other way.
Yeah.
That's why we're here talking to you.
So if you want to catch them, Tupelo are going to be playing 6:30 Friday night on the Boulevard stage, 6:30 Saturday on the Miller Lite stage, 5 o'clock Sunday on the Boulevard stage. And then James is going to do double duty. He'll be doing solo shows 2:30 on Saturday at the Magners Park stage, and same stage, 2 o'clock on Sunday. And don't forget to hit the merch table because they've got music there.
Come over and say hello, yeah, of course.
Tupelo. Thanks, guys, for coming in.
And thank you so much for your support. It means a hell of a lot.
Well, we've been enjoying your music for weeks and can't wait to see you guys live.
And don't forget, it's your round.
All right, sounds good. Tupelo Live here on the bridge.
Thank you.